episode 521. How the hell are you, Sarah?
I am good. You know what I did right there that I usually don't do, but I'm like, you're going to do more of this. I try to be mindful, and I try to just listen, like you were saying with the bird calls.
Oh,
and like,
what were you listening for?
How your tone.
My vibe.
Usually I come in and I'm like, wow, my vibe, or whatever I'm doing. It's like, this time I was like, let's meet Susie where she is today.
Thank you, Sarah. Here I am.
Here I am.
Did I say episode 521? Probably.
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah. Do you know how I know?
How?
Because I'm listening.
So dumb.
It sounds like I'm being like
A
whatever the word is. Like, oh God, is that it? No, like I'm being facetious or something like that. No, I'm like totally serious. Like
we just, everyone.
we gotta listen a little bit more.
I'm trying to think if I have any
Pressing news.
Yeah, right. Like events.
Yeah, me too.
That have happened.
Anything important? I feel like I had a whole bunch of stuff where I was like, oh, gotta tell Susie about this. Oh, gotta tell Susie about this. And then now,
That's all right.
What can you do?
Yeah, that happens all the time. But you know what? It just sort of comes out as it's meant to. Yeah.
Kind of like the Bumblebee story before. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, just talk about that. My mom is very curious about an update on the paranormal activity.
I was just thinking about
me
that.
about that all the time. Of course you were, because that's our thing.
I was just thinking about how it's since I talked to Sally, I haven't had any weird things.
You recognized, maybe that's all it needed to do. It was for you to recognize what it was. Just like some energy.
Maybe. I don't know. There just hasn't been any bizarre.
Yeah. My mom says there's an attachment to the furniture, to the stuff.
That the ghost has.
Yeah. That it's the stuff. That,
Really?
And she says something about she's mentioned 4 times about the rocking thing. Like a rocking chair, rocking horse, or rocking.
Okay.
That that being moved or excuse me, I burped a little. Oh my God, it's because I just ate a taco.
Yeah, it's because I just ate a taco.
I did. It's the Pico de Gallo remnants are sitting right in front of me.
I can't say I miss the ghost, but if anything weird happens, I'll check out the rocking chair and I did move it.
On a maybe unrelated note, didn't you recently have all the electrical stuff in your house redone?
Wait, did I?
I feel like I've called you and you were like, oh yeah, the electrician's coming, they're doing electrical stuff. So wouldn't it be funny if if we were to lay a timeline of electrical repairs over the timeline of the ghost mishaps?
Oftentimes the answer is the simplest thing.
Yes.
But ghosts are more fun than just
way
bad
more fun.
wiring.
But I absolutely do think that the trapped energy thing is a fucking thing. Because I swear, I love the house that my family has up in Cambria. It's like our rental home that my grandfather built. It's beautiful, but I really do think there's some bad
juju going on.
Juju in there.
Why? What happens?
It brings out the most intense, it intensifies uncomfortable feelings, like sad feelings. I feel like if you are an anxious person, you'd be extra anxious in there. If you're self-critical, you're extra self-critical in there. If you're sad, you're extra sad there.
Well, that doesn't sound very inviting. Don't put that on the Airbnb description.
I will not. Yeah, but I'm cleaning it out. I've since cleaned it out. Well, I mean, I say since because I'm going to do it this weekend. So I'm going to go up there and I have a whole
burning
plan.
Sage and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord, she's getting her potions out.
Getting the potions out.
Shining up the old cauldron.
Yeah. And you need you need helpers to come and
helpers.
Well, yeah, other people because I can't. I'm connected to it.
How many witchy women does it take to cleanse a house?
Just one more, I think.
One more.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many witchy women does there's got to be a joke in there. First, the house actually has to want to be cleansed or something like that.
Well, keep us posted on that. I hope the energy shifts.
I will. I think I'll be able to feel it.
So,
probably
the first order of business.
Yes.
I read a wonderful article in the New Yorker, and the title was something like who gets to decide what food is disgusting, something like that.
Oh. That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, that is something I've always wondered. And It turns out there is a museum in Sweden called the Museum of Disgusting Food.
I've heard of this.
Have you seen any of it? I have not. I just read about it.
I have not, but I feel like I heard this before.
It's a very popular
and then I wanted
place.
to know more, so I'm so glad that we are here.
Yeah, the Museum of Disgusting Food is designed similar to a lot of the Instagram-y places where you take lots of pictures, Museum of Ice Cream, things like that.
Okay.
But...
Okay, so it's more like installation style, not like...
they said that it was designed to be like... playful in that way where you want to take pictures and I'm sure that's just good for
like
business.
in my mind I had like a hallway of like freeze-dried yes exactly that pillars with like spotlights on them and like little plaques in front.
Maybe they have some of that, but
that is funny. Okay.
I love this article because it's fascinating to hear about what food is eaten but to most people would be disgusting, but there's some other...
Oh my gosh, I did read this because I was like, this is where they get all the ideas for the fucking things that they do on the challenge. Isn't there one of something with sharks? Oh my God, I totally, like fermented sharks. I think I was triggered and I had to put it down because I'm like, that's everything I ate in the finals on challenges.
You probably did because that was my feeling was like this... I hope none of the producers read this because
I swear they already know. Oh my God, yes. That is. Tell me more. Tell me more. See, because I couldn't read it because it's like this is a final.
Okay, yes. So these guys that created it, they took it really seriously, and they had a screening process with 4 criteria: the taste, the texture, the smell, and then the process by which the food is made. So
right. If it's made in like that coffee that cats have to shit out or whatever that one is. Yeah. That goes in there.
Yes. So like even if it's delicious, but if it's made of cat turds, well then, that's a contender.
Bueno. Right.
So
it's going on the brackets.
And then like they keep track of how many times they throw up when they taste something.
My God. I should do this job.
You would be great at it.
I'm a big puker.
You are a huge puker, and you also have discerning taste. So I think like you would really check a lot of boxes.
Yeah, and I don't mind eating. I mean, I'll eat it. So like, and I go in with the understanding that this is probably in some culture a delicacy or at some point like that. And if you go in with that mindset, it makes it so it's not it. The disgusting bar is like raised, I guess, like, so it has to meet more criteria because it's just not just like the ick factor in your head. You may be like, how do you know this, Sarah? It's on footage, or go back and watch the tape. Watch my highlight reel. Roll the
that
tape.
Beautiful bean footage.
Oh God! Oh, that's so funny. Yes. Okay. Oh my God. Tell me more. I love this.
So one of the guys, he throws up all the time. He's like you. And then this other guy, he found a lot of the foods unpleasant, but he got sick only after tasting something called balut, which is a Filipino egg fetus snack that is eaten straight from the shell with feathers, beak, and blood included.
Nope.
That really...
just a baby. And oh my God. The part about that I almost hate the most is that we're calling it a snack.
That's what it said. It said a snack.
Like, because it would have been wrong to not differentiate between like a whole meal.
Right. Like it's like an amuse-bouche.
Right. I'm like, why is that? Like, that's like the appetizer for like, oh my God.
It must be a tiny egg, but still, blood and all.
But still, like, just to refer to it as a snack.
Yeah.
That just is funny to me.
And then they were describing like the logistics are troublesome sometimes because like getting certain things through customs is a real problem. So like, like there's this nearly extinct French songbird, which is prepared by blinding the bird.
Oh, for Pete's sake.
And then drowning it in brandy.
Oh my God. There's no way that makes it better. There's no way that they were like, you know what? This is delicious. We'll make it better. Salt and pepper? No. Blinding the bird.
Right.
How is that a thing?
It says the practice is banned in the EU, but,
so shocker.
They couldn't get it in the museum. So sometimes they have to work around it. Like there's this raw monkey brain.
Whose job is it to poke little birds' eyeballs out?
It was supposed.
I can't.
The raw monkey brain was supposedly served at Chinese imperial banquets, and instead they couldn't get it in the museum, so they represented it by a type of wooden table that they would have used to hold down the live monkey, while the top of its head was sliced open.
Oh my god!
And spooned out.
That is and spooned out. It's the descriptors. Who's right? Oh my god! I'm ill. Well, that taco I just had.
Right, I'm so sorry.
Thank goodness I already ate it. Or else it'd be me and that guy.
I'm just gross you out a little more, but then I'll get on to like the point of the whole thing.
This is fantastic. I knew just enough about this article to make this really intriguing, and then you just blew my mind, similar to how the monkey's mind was blown open.
Oh my god!
And then scooped out.
So I'm going to tell you more of the examples, and then like why I brought it up in the first place. But first, I'm going to tell you that if you are eating these things, you might want to get hydrated with liquid IV. Am I right?
Boy, it's way better, actually.
It's way better. And maybe the flavors, the yummy flavors, will drown out the disgusting food museum products. I'm loving the strawberry flavor. I don't know whether that's new or if it's just new to me.
It's new. Oh, my God. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yes. So is there – I feel like there's another new one.
There's watermelon.
Yes. Watermelon is delicious.
The tangerine one is great because it's got an immune booster in there, too.
I haven't tried that one.
They
Put it on the
have
list.
apple pie. They have all these great flavors. It's so fun to try them. But it's great because these packets you can just throw in your purse or in your car or whatever. We use it for our night drink. So, when we go to bed, we bring one up with us and it helps us keep us hydrated because it hydrates you at 2 to 3 times water alone. So this is like efficient too.
And if you think water is disgusting and like belongs in the Museum of Disgusting Things, we can fix that.
Yeah, Liquid IV has the answer. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use our code CANDY at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order when you get better hydration today using promo code CANDY at liquidiv.com. Okay,
Yes.
So here's a couple other really gross things.
Love it.
There's a South Korean wine that demanded, and
How dare you make my wine not good?
I'm literally quoting, it demands fresh turds of children.
No!
Yeah.
Are we sure turds doesn't translate to something else?
I know it, TURDS. And it says the guy that runs the museum scooped up his 8-year-old daughter's poop.
No. Now he just has a
fermented
fetish.
it
Then
with
gross,
rice wine. And then that's in the museum.
No! Oh, you mean to like recreate it? He used his own. Oh my God!
Can you believe?
Talk about dedication to your job.
Then they say the grossest thing of all. It doesn't
God.
It doesn't actually sound that gross, but it's called surströmming, and it's it's fermented herring, and it's very
This is the one that I
popular.
think they did. This is the one I think that they did on the challenge
Really?
because it was in like Iceland.
Yeah. Yep. Nordic cultures love
Yes, this is it.
this herring.
Or it's the one they did to us on the thing I had. Oh my fucking God!
Yeah.
The thing I swear fermented herring. Yeah.
What I loved about the article, though, was it pointed
God.
out some of the complexities of this. Like, it's fun to talk about and get grossed out or whatever. But, like Sarah said, a lot of these are foods that in parts of the world are enjoyed and appreciated and provide nutrition. And so on one hand, it's introducing the visitors to new foods, but on the other, there's like this cosmopolitan sanitation process at work where we're like, ew, gross. And then like culture is not contextualized and
Calling it disgusting and even giving it that label.
yeah.
Is
and they asked
absolutely.
the guys,
Oh yes.
they
Oh
said,
yes.
why can't you use a different word like unusual or
Yes.
something? But they said it just doesn't have the same effect, and they're trying to make money.
Oh my God.
And
Ew. It says every colonizer ever.
True.
Fucking A. I don't like that.
Yeah, and so like, they're
That's
they're
what the
saying,
oppressor says. I'm just trying to make money.
Well, they're saying like we're trying to run a
like
business here,
Yeah, that's exactly what. Okay. Mhm.
and so
Same with everything that where they've what is the word? Objectified a culture. Like in a way, like it's
where everything is commodified.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's commodifying somebody else's
Right,
culture too. It's like appropriation in a strange way of like, I'm going to put this on display that some other culture, without giving any background or like context to like how
like,
this was.
A lot
and
of
who
times,
knows? Maybe there's a whole story behind that now I'm mad.
Well, a lot of times the things that can make you money are it's low hanging fruit. It's the stuff that's like the challenge. It's like reality TV. Because it's like, yes, you're introducing people to other cultures and their food, but then you're tracking how often you vomit. Like they have a sign up that says like 2 days since last vomit or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like what that does, like subliminally or like subconsciously to our idea of whatever culture like or part of the world or whatever eats that food, there's a connection made between like, oh, that is disgusting. Well, and it's hard to separate food, culture, people.
The writer of the article is Asian. She's Chinese. And she said that, a big percentage of the food represented is Asian. And that it made her feel very self-aware and sort of embarrassed because like they're calling it disgusting and she grew up with that food, Yes.
And then oh my gosh, it's messed up. Yep.
And like
absolutely. You know what they think? Oh, our food, like maybe some of our things are disgusting. Have you tried mayonnaise? Fucking ew.
Well, even just when I read about that egg bird, I'm like, well, we eat part of an egg. Like what's the difference? We fetishize eggs on everything in Western food.
Have you had any of that weird Jell-O fruit salad shit? Put that in the museum.
And also,
nasty.
It was talking about how the stigma for Asian cultures, especially now, is so much worse with people thinking that COVID came from, those wet markets and the people eating bats. And so there's also that element of, you don't want this to encourage that way of thinking.
It is low-hanging fruit. It is.
Like, it's so interesting, and it is fun to talk about, like, can you believe they eat that and everything? But there are consequences to it.
Yes, there really are.
Yeah.
It's important to be aware of what those are and take that into consideration, even just, like, in how
just being aware of it.
Yes. There's a way to present it and a way to talk about it that maybe, and
but that wouldn't make as much money, Sarah. That's the thing.
Oh, God. And that's, like, what are we talking dollar-wise? Like, that's what I think people have to, like, take in. Like, is it a difference? Because it's still going to draw attention. Like, okay, now if you switch the name, like, or whatevs, what are we talking a difference of? $1,000 a year? Is it worth it? Whatever, Are people not going to show up anymore because now it's called the Museum of Unusual
like global
tastes
food.
And something.
Yeah, but like
I think it would work harder in your advertising.
It's
do
hard.
more work.
That's why academics are stereotypically so boring and whatever because there's nuance and there's context and it's drier than being like I ate this egg with a beak in it and I've puked.
Suze, I swear this is why it can be hard to have certain conversations or hang out with like. Sometimes people who like hang out with different groups of people that want to talk about that stuff. That feeling of like, I don't really want to talk about,
Well, I was telling Sarah before we started recording,
whatever it is,
that I had some people over the house and when they left, I had a nice time and everything, but I thought, okay, we're at different places in our life.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, where you think, well, I'd rather talk about ideas and stuff that matters and like brain candy stuff. And some people would prefer to talk about boring, weird.
And that's fine. And we might be in different moods at different times. And that's totally fine too. We have to check in like, what's the mood I'm in right now? Yeah.
The mood I'm in is making my bathroom like a spa thanks to Osea.
Oh, yes. Love that.
These products
self-care
are phenomenal. They are luxurious. They are rich. They are not greasy. Like they have these oils. They have moisturizers. They have bath salt therapies. And it really feels like you're treating your body properly. Like there's a beautiful fragrances, and it's just like
And
really nice.
You deserve it?
I'm saying.
Yes.
Well, and the older I get, the more care I put into my skin, just because you realize how, things change over time, the texture, the way your skin looks. And I just want it to be beautiful as long as possible. And so Osea creates these skin and body care products. They're powered by the sea, so they're responsibly sourced, plant-derived ingredients, really good for your skin and good for the planet, which is very important to me. And the company is female-founded. We love that. A mother-daughter team. So cool. You can try Osea risk-free for 30 days and get free shipping on orders over $50. They even send you free samples with every order. And
I love that.
You get 10% off your first order with our promo code BrainCandy at OseaMalibu.com. That's 10% off with code BrainCandy at Osea Malibu. It's OSEAMALIBU.com. And, the samples they give you, that inspired me to buy another one because I got to try it.
Yes.
And I really loved it, so I bought it. Anyway.
They use like science. Oh my God, it's great. I love it. I love everything about it.
So good.
Fantastic.
Okay, next up, I just saw this really cool picture. It was on Esquire, and it was saying that there was like in the middle of a lake, and it was a picture of a church steeple coming up out of the lake.
Oh.
And it said,
weird.
Like this underwater town is coming back out of the water after however many years. I was like, what the heck is it? Is this Atlantis?
Doing underwater. Right.
Yeah.
How to get underwater to begin with.
It said that this place, Curon, C-U-R-O-N, it's like off of Italy, was once a village of hundreds of people before it was sacrificed in the name of energy. In 1950, it was intentionally flooded to create a lake.
That kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies in a weird way. Why does
Totally.
it do that? Why does it do that? When you said intentionally flooded, it made me like, huh? Like,
They
what's
were
that?
creating an artificial
Terrifying.
lake for hydroelectric plant. Of course, the residents were evacuated, but there was like 160 homes and obviously this church. And even now, like when the water's frozen over, visitors can walk straight across the ice to the church steeple and examine the old architecture. How weird is that?
Are these the things I've seen in photos where they're like scuba divers that can go down on a park bench? There's like a park bench underwater. Oh, it's so weird. Yes, I've seen like photos of that before, but I never knew what it was really from. And that, are we doing that a lot?
Like, I've never heard of that.
Me either. And who decided? Could you imagine?
Yeah, like the town
Did you ever
meeting?
watch the? Oh my God!
Hey guys, we got it. We got an idea. Good news, bad news.
Good news. What? How do you feel about a lake?
Right? Do you love
Lakefront property.
hydroelectricity as much as I do? Right.
You know how you said you've always wanted waterfront property? Well, good news.
Can you
Could be
imagine?
Underwater property. Oh my
Like it
God!
freaks me out. I'm going to post the
It
pictures
does.
on our Instagram because it
freaks me out too.
It's not okay.
It thinks because did you ever see the HBO series Chernobyl?
No, but everyone loves it.
Oh my, Susie!
No, everyone
After you
thinks
see
it's great.
Interstellar, see that.
Okay, I'll put it on my list. Well, but
Also,
I like that
by
it's
the
based
way,
on a true
your
story.
husband sent me we were like emailing back and forth, and he made a reference to Interstellar that made me think that he has seen it. So if he saw it and you didn't, he like,
You mean
or maybe
he
it was
like
just
knew some part of the plot or something?
well, no, not about the plot, but he just like wrote about it confidently enough, like without saying, "But I haven't seen it." Afterwards,
I'll investigate that.
has he seen it? I need to know the answer to that. Anyways, back to what we're talking about.
Okay.
Now I'm thrown off by our Matthew McConaughey reference.
It's all right. I'm moving on. I just wanted to tell you that because it freaked me out.
Yeah. About the scariest part about Chernobyl was like when the town was evacuated and they like decide like, hey, everybody, you got to leave and you got to like take
would you take?
this many things. Now you're leaving. Like that would suck. Mm-hmm. And how much are they paying residents to relocate?
I think
have
about that
so
a
many
lot.
questions.
Like even when they build like a highway and they have to pay the people to move. I don't want to move.
No, me neither.
I act like
wouldn't
this
wanna
is
do that.
happening to us.
Right. I remember that one is like, I'm not leaving. Please, they're repainting the color of the building, and I'm upset.
Are they?
And I am not in any way an owner or I'm like, ugh, I don't like that color. I don't approve. And I have like feelings of regret, like I made a bad choice of the paint color. It's not even the inside of my house. It's the outside.
Yeah, you
what
have
is
to
that?
just accept it.
What is that? That's dumb. So yeah.
Okay, now we're going to talk about resilience.
Oh, I do love to talk about this.
They have determined that there is like one thing that really significantly determines whether you happen to be a resilient person or not.
Oh my God, I'm nervous. What is it?
It is close personal relationships when you were a child.
Oh.
So early attachment to parents.
Well, yes.
And basically believing that you're loved when you're a child. If you felt truly loved, you are much more likely to be a person who can handle life's inevitable difficulties.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I like that. And I hear it doesn't take many people. Like, you just need like that one person who, you need somebody who's really going to love you.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's also sad.
Yeah, it is. Because so much is riding on those early years.
But I do know that you can reform those attachments with certain kinds of therapy, and with the right people. You can. So people should never feel like, well, I didn't get that, so I'm like fucked forever. No.
Yeah. So they were saying
worries.
that like that can tell you what's in your resilience toolbox. Like some people, their toolbox is filled with drugs or drinking or gambling or shopping.
Yeah.
But they don't really create resilience. They're just coping. And so resilient people are usually optimistic, but also realistic and have a moral compass and religious and spiritual beliefs and like cognitive and emotional flexibility, and then the social connectedness. Like all the things that everyone tells you are good for your health in every way are also good for this.
Yes, it's all connected. It's all the same. It's like what we say. It's like a return to the basics.
And so since it's so important, all these things like having social connections and having a spiritual sense and having morals, like cultivate that. Even if you feel like you got ripped off in the toolbox, you can fill it up now. It isn't too late.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not too late. And I think the more understanding of maybe, like you said, like what we didn't get, the more you can, like once you recognize that and say, oh yeah, that was missing and that's okay, let's go get it. Then you can start like cultivating that in your life.
Yeah. So all hope is not lost. It's just sort of good to know. And some people kind of like start on third base. Those people that had a lot of love and support. Okay. Yeah. They got a head start, but that doesn't mean you can't play the game. So.
Yeah. But also resilience, some people got a head start on maybe like, the love, but there wasn't the hardship and the challenge that maybe required them to,
develop skills.
Yeah. And then like nobody is free of the human experience. So it's like going to happen,
Yeah.
There's going to be tough times. And well, I heard this great new phrase for parenting now. Maybe I've shared this already on here. But instead of calling them like helicopter parents that like hover over and like, look at everything they're doing, they're calling them, oh my God, what is it called? Sweeping parents or curling parents? I think it's sweepers. But it's like, in curling, the sport of curling. Yeah, snowplow. Like we're clearing the way before. And so like there's no problems and no nothing. And that's like, you can have a lot of love, but if there aren't a few hurdles to like build up that resilience.
Yeah.
everything can feel like a big, gigantic hurdle when you're older. And
Yeah.
people who have had a lot of big, gigantic hurdles, you can look at it and be like,
Well,
wow,
you get
look,
perspective.
I jumped yes.
Yeah, because don't you ever talk to someone who thinks like nothing is a big deal? Like they think that a tiny thing is a huge thing, and you're just like, oh, girl, you have had a great life if you think this is a big deal.
Yeah, and to them it is, because like the body doesn't know and the brain doesn't know, but it probably won't be the biggest deal you deal with. There will be bigger,
Yeah.
Nobody is immune. Nobody is. Well, I have yet to meet somebody who doesn't have never had hardship.
That article was in the New York Times, and it's really great. If you're interested, check that out. I read another article. I think this one was in the LA Times. This was it's called The Man Who Didn't Invent the Flamin' Hot Cheeto.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny that I see these article titles and then I go, that's interesting. Susie will probably tell me about it.
Yeah, because some of it, especially like New Yorker ones, are really in depth, so they take a lot of time. So I'm happy to give you Cliff Notes because I can't resist. I need to know. So
tell me.
The guy who didn't invent Flamin' Hot Cheetos, this fascinated me because I swear we even talked about it.
For sure we did, and they made a movie about it, I thought.
Yes.
Okay. I am so glad you are telling us about it. This is like a follow-up to a previous story. This is great.
Before I tell you, I want to just encourage you guys to get into a routine by taking your vitamins. Yes. Thank you, Ritual, for giving me the motivation and the product that I can handle. It is the best vitamins I've ever tasted because they are not disgusting. They do not make my tummy sick. And they are vegan-friendly, non-GMO, sugar-free, free of major allergens, all that good stuff. Now they have kids' ones. They have men's. They have prenatal, postnatal, and the protein that you inspired me to get. Because you were like, I've been taking their protein. I'm like, what? They have protein?
Yes.
They have it all. So they are keeping us on track. And, if you maybe aren't eating the best or whatever, Ritual can help you fill in those little gaps, especially if you're postnatal or prenatal. A mother doesn't always put her needs first, but Ritual does. That's why they're offering our listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/braincandy to start Essential Postnatal today or any of their other product lines.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when I had talked about this story previously, I knew it as there was this guy that worked for I don't know if it's Frito-Lay or whatever, whoever like the main company is that makes Cheetos. And he was
Frito-Lay. Sounds about right.
He was a janitor. And he had heard the CEO say that like, oh, you right?
Yeah, I got a little Cheeto dust.
Cheeto dust. It goes right in the lungs. Okay, so he was a janitor, and he had heard the CEO say, like, hey, we're all in this together. If you have a great idea, please call me, and we'll consider it. And so he went to the boss and pitched this idea that, he's a Latino man. Mm-hmm. I don't know where he's from. Mexico. He's from Mexico. And he was saying, like, a lot of people in the Hispanic culture really like spicy foods. You should make a hot Cheeto. Mm-hmm. And this story is so inspiring because, like, he went from janitor to becoming, like, head of marketing or something crazy.
Yeah.
And it was a real triumph. And then, as Sarah said, they sold his life story to Eva Longoria. Is going to make a movie, and he has a memoir coming out. And he gives, like, talks all over the world about how awesome he is. And turns out he definitely did not make Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Get out. We were sold a big old crock of crap.
Of Cheeto dust.
I'm
so mad because the thing about it is, like, if you just hear his regular story, it's so inspiring.
Oh, they needed to.
Right.
Well, dang.
Like,
what's his regular story?
Just, he was, originally he was hired as a janitor in like the 1970s. And then he would, like, within a few months was promoted to the manufacturing line. And then he worked his way up over time and did become one of the people in the offices working on marketing. And he did pitch products that came to be.
So basically everything is the same except the line, hey, you should make Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Yeah, and also
I'm
just
okay with
like he acted like he alone created Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and they were like, even if you pitch an idea, you're not the only person that like decides the ingredients and the spices and.
Are we mad at Cheetos for this? Maybe
A little, because I
think this is like exploitation of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they
Tell
knew
me
the
more.
truth, and they never said like, that's really.
They like the idea. It's almost like I feel like there's just a little bit of like taking advantage of.
Yeah.
It looks like a good story. It's like
It's
good
a great
publicity.
headline. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And now, like, who doesn't want a Flaming Hot Cheeto right now?
And he kind of got away with it because Flamin' Hot Cheetos started in 1989, and then he never talked about it until after the year 2000, and really until 2017 when Flamin' Hot Cheetos became really, really popular. Mm-hmm. So all the people that actually did create them had retired and were sort of like not in the zeitgeist and didn't even know.
Definitely not on Twitter.
Yeah, and TikTok. And so
Right.
he was like able to perpetuate this myth without anyone being like, okay, stop it. Until eventually the woman who did create Hot Cheetos.
And it was a woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bummer, like I said, because he has a great rags to riches story, and I'm sure he's very impressive, but you don't like need to
No, you don't.
add to the
need to at all.
story.
You really don't.
Especially at the expense of the people who did create it. I mean,
That
it's a
is
dubious
really
distinction anyway. Come on.
Interesting. Very interesting.
What if that's what you were hanging your hat on? That you made Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
But, like, I wonder what his feeling is on that. Like, is it like he like gets off stage and is like, oh, I'm a fraud?
No. I think people like that convince themselves.
Okay. Right. And if everybody's saying it.
Because the CEO that he said, like, told them to call him and all that, he didn't even work there until 1990 after Flamin' Hot Cheetos had already gone to, like, testing.
Everybody was on board with this.
Yeah.
Wow. This is like I can't remember what the guy's name is, but there was a HBO special a long time ago where this comedian did a like rewrite, like American history, but like the real history kind of thing, and was talking about how when fiction becomes when fiction is more exciting than fact, print the fiction. And then fiction becomes fact when it becomes recirculated so often.
Yeah, and in
so
the article
frequently.
it even said that when they would try to fact check certain things, the people at the company would just be like, listen, it's been a long time and this myth has been around. It's hard to know like what actually did happen. But they were
Yeah.
able to find receipts and stuff, so... he definitely did not make Flamin' Hot Cheetos, but he did lots of cool stuff. So just be that guy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, kind of a letdown. It's like you want that. I guess you're right. Both stories are good stories.
Well, and I just love that we're so desperate for these sort of like feel good stories, though, about
oh my God, that's
whatever.
the truth.
That we'll just okay. He made them. He's an immigrant. He
You're
was a
so
janitor.
right.
That's it. The end. You know.
That feels good to us.
Yeah.
It's all those they're like, yeah, that looks good. Apple Day keeps the doctor away. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm like when nobody like questions like, oh no, just the story sounds good. Keep believing it.
I read an article. Let's see, where was this one? The Guardian. This was about why architecture is designed for 6 feet tall men.
Oh my God, for sure.
Yeah. There's this guy, Le Corbusier, who developed this proportional system, quote unquote, in the 1940s. And he had in mind, he had in mind a handsome British policeman. This was his vision.
Oh my God, there isn't anything we would want less to be.
Right?
The only thing that's going from is British.
So he
I guess
wanted
handsome
to
and-
shape the entire post-war world and then basically started dictating everything from the height of a door handle to the scale of a staircase. And it was all to make it for the 6 foot tall ideal man. And then all these ladies were like, no. So then these women got together and they created this group called the Matrix Feminist Design Cooperative.
Well, I love that they are getting together. We're like, we got to fix this.
Yeah, because they were saying like architecture didn't even consider the needs of women at the time. Like the kitchens were super small. And like the nursery or like the kids' room wouldn't even be within the line of sight of where.
Oh my God.
Stuff like that. And so the cooperative decided to like consult with women. And
I swear the last apartment I was in, 100% designed by a man because none of the things function in the way that you would need them if you were a woman and maybe the one doing most of those jobs, whatever it would be. Like,
and you just
design over function.
If you don't talk to the people that are using it besides men, then you wouldn't know. If you just don't care about that. So
the bedroom in Sight is a really good one. Really good example.
Yeah, but
what else was on there?
They just were saying that there was no consideration for the ways in which women were using a home in comparison to men. And I'm sure it wasn't limited to homes, but that was the example they used.
Oh, I feel like I've heard this about parks before and like cars, how cars are designed. Like, for sure.
Well, you see it with medicines, too, how they just don't test them on women. So they're like, yeah, we don't know what'll happen if you're on your period or whatever.
The test dummies? Yeah, we did that. Oh, my God.
So just assume everything you used, you're used to it, so you might not even notice.
I remember, like, those moments where, like, I rarely wear heels, especially now. And I like, would put on a pair of heels, and then you go to, like, sit on a toilet. And I'm like, wow, this is easy.
Yeah.
Like, my feet actually touch the ground. Like, I'm not even that short. But it's weird that it's like a very different experience when you have heels on and you use a toilet.
Yeah, you're, like, at a traditional male height.
It's funny.
God damn it.
Yes, for sure. I'm probably 6 feet. Yeah, well, no. They don't have 7 inches, for goodness sake, Sarah.
Okay.
No, that's all.
Next up, I did read an awesome article in the New York Times about a nun. She's our age. She's my age. She's 40. And she wanted to encourage people. She's, like, real badass and into, like...
We love
she's
that.
Like a punk rock nun. And,
punk rock nun. I love it.
Yeah. And she wanted people to... really remember the practice of memento mori, which is remember your death.
Yes.
And she says people will often say, oh, it's too morbid. Why do you want to focus on that? And she obviously believes that if you are aware of your immortality in like a daily way, that you will have a better sense of your priorities. You will have a sense of urgency about your lifespan and your behaviors, and that our collective, like, what do they call it? Death narrative.
Yeah.
And how we
negative death narrative. Yeah.
Yeah. And we think, oh, it's just bad. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to engage with that concept. It's a disservice to our lives. And it was so good.
Yeah, I love that somebody is saying that from a religious place, like from a religious perspective, like, because where else we heard this is, or something similar, is how people who are like goth are doing better in the pandemic, or doing better with the idea of a bunch of people passing away, because, which is so sad, but the idea of kind of embracing that death narrative. And it helps you cope with grief, with loss, with all that. So I love that. And so you usually hear it from, like, maybe like a goth person might not be the best, I don't know, source of info if you're somebody who's like maybe religious. But when you hear it from a nun who's like, oh yeah, actually listen to those goth people.
Well, and she was saying that like She used to be an atheist, and she got involved, I think it was in the animal activist community, and they believe that there is no species hierarchy, that we're all equal, and that you can't see humans as better or more deserving of care. And she really wasn't into that idea and felt like there was something inherently special about humans, that she connected to the idea of the soul. And so that's why she became religious and ultimately a nun, and why she wants you like kind of to remember your soul and remember that it's finite and probably the end of the story when you die. So make it worth it now.
Yes. You know, I saw this was Reverend Michael Beckwith, who's the Reverend pastor, I guess, at the Agape Church. It's like a spiritual center in Los Angeles. And he's like the one who wrote, or was part of, not wrote, but was in, he was on Oprah a whole bunch, and he was in that movie, The Secret, stuff like that. And he was saying how we need to do more. Like there's this idea of like, oh, I just need to be a good person. And how being a good person isn't really enough. Like being a good person is just like, okay, so maybe you like, pay your taxes, and you like, stop at a red light, and you like, don't litter, and you're a good person. That's not really what our soul's like journey, like mission, whatever it is, like what, if you want to call it this, what the universe or God wants from you. If you're not, if you're self-critical, and you are feeling like doubt and shame and guilt and all these sad feelings, and just like down on yourself, and just being so hard on yourself, then that's not really, but you're checking all the boxes. That's not the good that the universe wants you to do.
So what does he say the universe wants you to do? To
feel joy, and to not feel guilt, and to not feel like shame and those like self-critical feelings, to have not this like feeling of like, the negative death narrative, that more positive, like connect to what makes you happy, and it's okay, and like you're just a person, and being a person is hard, and all that stuff. And it just like sometimes we are focused on checking the wrong boxes, and maybe the right box isn't like, the right box is inner peace and inner whatever your source of joy is. And maybe not necessarily, but we like focus on, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? Yes, says who? So
I think it's
don't know. Somehow this was related in the beginning, but now I'm like staring out at the trees that are like blowing in the wind, and looking at the birds.
We've
and
lost
I'm like,
her.
Yeah, totally.
Peace, love, dope.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, I do think it's important to examine your motivations and your intentions, and just sort of go in there and be like, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Because a lot of times we go into autopilot.
Right. That is it. And like when you examine what it is and why you're doing it, make sure it's to like feel fulfilled and feel like, the good feelings.
We love good feelings.
We love them like the most.
Okay.
Way more than the bad ones. Even though those happen too, and those are just feelings, and it's all fine.
Okay.
End of my TED Talk.
I'm going to talk about noise pollution at the bottom of the ocean.
Oh, wasn't the place I thought you were going to.
I know.
Talk about it.
This one surprised me because I know there's noise pollution in the ocean. We've read about it before. But at the bottom, like at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, is that the name of it?
Wow. Are there Are there currents?
It was just saying that there's like they use their equipment to record for many days.
Is this going to be freaky stuff?
No.
Oh.
Like
sometimes I don't know. Underwater sounds, we have not explored a lot of that, and mysterious sounds coming from the ocean kind of is freaky to me.
No, it wasn't mysterious. It was just sort of like more than they thought. They thought that it was so deep down that the sound wouldn't be able to get all the way there. And so they were surprised at how noisy it was, and they heard the rumbling.
It's water. They should know this. Water amplifies sound.
Yeah, but there's like certain areas where there's obstacles. And so those areas can have more quiet. But for whatever reason, this is a place where noise can go. And they could hear the rumble of earthquakes and the chatter of whales and, like, of course, boat propellers. And they were saying how it's like these, you know, all the shipping stuff.
Yeah, how loud is that?
They were surprised by it. They didn't give a decibel reading, but the good news is that they're going to be able to use the recordings as like a baseline measure over time to see if it gets noisier and to measure the health of the ocean. So they're going to use
because
sound.
I can imagine like sound is something that's super important for a lot of animals in their a bunch of stuff, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
Now you add this outside element that are variable that is like, you know, man-made and this really loud noises. Maybe those are affecting migration patterns. Maybe they're affecting the ears of these poor little marine animals.
Well, and if you once had tons of whale chatter and then in 10 years you don't, that can help you see whether the whales are in trouble or not, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What if they're like calling out for each other and they can't hear it because of the boat noises?
Well, that was something we talked about before. That is an actual real problem.
I don't like this.
They're trying to get mates and then these boats come through and totally cock block them.
Oh my God.
I hope Squats and Slices makes a meme out of that.
I love when some of the times I'm like, oh my God, we're hilarious out of context.
Yeah, usually I'm appalled at my own.
It's great. I love every single one.
But you know what?
Yes, I gotta like set you up for funny shit.
Okay.
Man, sounds at the bottom of the ocean, huh?
Let me think. I might have one more.
That trench is so much deeper than we think it is. Remember when you sent me that little scroll through? If that still exists, people Google that. It's like, how deep is the ocean?
Fun.
Scroll.
Yeah,
like scroll to the bottom of the ocean. It's insane.
Yeah, that
how
really
deep
was.
you're like. Set aside 10 minutes because you're going to be scrolling for a fucking while. It's so much deeper than you think. The ocean is so much deeper than we think it is.
Yeah, and you can see on that chart
my God, I'm freaked out thinking about it.
Yeah.
Makes my toes curl. What the fuck is down there? Weird stuff that we don't even know about.
I mean, this might be a bad time to do it, but we kind of do need to wind down.
Oh, okay. That's better. Be
Sarah was just revving up.
I know. No, it's better that I don't. I need to like not think about that. I have.
You reminded me earlier that we do need to encourage people to get their It's Hard Being a Person merch.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Show how you're resilient. Mm-hmm.
We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat in the Mariana Trench. And
I was just going to say
and it helps us so much when you use our codes or you get our merch or join our Patreon.
Yes.
Those are all things that we are so thankful for.
I've been on a real kick on using our own codes for things because I've just needed a restock.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to stock
up. And I'm
like,
oh yeah, I need more of that. I love it. It's great.
Today we learned about disgusting food and why we probably shouldn't call it that.
Yep, shouldn't call it disgusting food. Yeah, man, learned about resilience. Learned about how having somebody who loves you really helps. But don't worry because you can build some of that as an adult as well with some good, healthy relationships.
We learned that there's an underwater church that is totally freaking me out.
Oh, my God, yeah. I forgot. And that they freaking drowned an entire city. We're not getting revved up. We're calming down.
We learned about a Cheetos scam.
Yes.
I mean, come on, man.
Just tell us the truth that we like it.
Like,
it's
we
just
love snacks as much as the next guy, but you can't lie about them.
Right.
It's rude. Architecture equals patriarchy. We learned that.
As most things do. What's new? And we learned about a nun who
is fine with you dying.
Likes
death.
Likes death.
She says she gets a lot of skulls. People give her skulls.
Oh, that's cool. She's, I feel like there was a saint who was like there's like, you know how they always have like
there's
things that represent them? There's like a saint of death, and she's probably like, she's like the goth nun. I'm into this.
She'd probably accompany you to Cambria to D Sage or whatever the hell.
Yes. Oh my God, she would be great for that. For sure. That'd be awesome. Get her on the phone.
Really, we just want you to tell a friend and keep listening and subscribe, and it helps us so much, and we're so grateful. We love you guys.
We love you.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.